We're to call the meeting of Morrow, January 20th, 2026 to order. Thank you everyone for being here. Introductions, all four commissioners are here for their seats anyway. We are, of course, one vacancy on the commission. We go around the room for introductions, please.
Randy Warburton, Port of Morrow.
Mark Gatton, Port of Morrow.
Lisa Middlestar, Port of Morrow. Ivan Hendricks, Port of Morrow.
Mark Vanderborn, Clean Industries.
Jacob Haynes, Port of Morrow.
Alder, Port of Morrow.
Raymond Akers, community member. Port of Morrow. Jonathan Holland, landowner.
Eric Martin, Port of Morrow.
And online, we'll start with Sam,
Sam Tucker, Port's attorney.
John Doherty,
John Doherty, City Ventnor.
Kyla,
Baumgartner, rock solid sand and gravel.
Griffin Beach. I don't know if they have audio ever. Marcine,
Marcine Brigham, Port of Morrow Warehousing.
Ryan,
Gleason, CFM Advocates.
and Aaron. Are you there, Aaron? Right, you should have seen it.
Already stepped away. Do we have any conflict in this declarations today? Yes. Seeing none, election of a Port of Morrow Commission officers for 2026. There was some comments made by a couple of the commissioners about waiting until we have a full complement of commission. And I'll just put this to you, is that what you want to do? It was suggested by a couple of people, or shall we go ahead with commission officers? It's up to you. I'd like to hear your thoughts, please.
I guess my thought is that we won't have a full complement of commissioners on the press board if the press board meets on the 28th.
The option,
So I'm assuming if we don't take action today. I'm open either way. I can go either way, whatever the commission desires.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it. I thought we would go ahead.
start there. Okay, well, then,
That process might take longer than we'd like.
so yeah, that's a part of the issue today. It's time constraint, at least for me. And so I was trying to be expeditious, but I don't need to delete or go over topics that we need to address. Okay, so if it's, so we'll go ahead with election for commission officers then. Now, this is different than membership board of finance, which is later in the meeting.
And Mr. Chair, I would make a motion that we keep the slate as presented.
As currently in place.
As currently in place.
Can I second that? If I'm part of that slate.
Yeah, I think we have to.
I guess we do, don't we?
Yeah, we do. Okay. So current officers, myself as the president, Rick as vice president, Joel as secretary, correct? Okay. There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion or comment? Okay, all those in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, commission officers are elected. Thank you very much. We had public comment period, but I have no one signed up for public comment period. Is that correct?
I didn't know that existed. I have a comment that I'd like to put on record. Now
Is the time. You have 3 minutes, and the commission won't necessarily enter into discussion, so please.
bear with me. Frank Daggers, most of you know me, property owner, Paul Smith Road. I see some things moving quickly around Morgan. From my understanding, talking to several landowners, there's a project coming down the BPA line, which I haven't heard anybody per se not want it. As long as it's done the right way in the right order. So I'm just gonna read, something for the record here that I'll with you when I'm done. I just want to briefly explain why people keep using the word reliance, because it's not an actual accusation. It's about the decision being downstream. Reliance happens when a public body treats plan, map, or corridor as settled. Enough to base real decisions on it. Such as funding, construction, scheduling, and coordination. When the plan is still under appeal, waiting co-adoption or described as conceptual. In this case, the corridor has repeatedly been described as consensual, or importantly, there are no final or exact maps that clearly define that alignment, right-of-way, or parcel level impact. That uncertainty is significant. Just for awareness, Fort is calling this a conceptual Columbia Trail. County is calling this an acknowledged heritage trail, and the city has two different trail names, with the park master plan. Park and Rec also tied, now appealed, and paused, neither. From the perspective of the Department of Land Conservation and Development, the concern is not whether each agency follows its own agenda. The concern is whether multiple agencies are moving forward based on shared assumptions before coordination is complete, especially where underlying plans are still conceptual. DLCD looks at whether decisions are stacked on top of one another in a way that affect fixed or corridor access jurisdictions, even though no single body has adopted a final alignment or resolve impact. The Land Use Board of Appeals look at this very particularly and ask when this body acts, was the reasonable to treat the corridor as settled, given it was still conceptual, is not precisely that. LUBA focuses on real world facts, money spent, infrastructure approved, construction begun, not just labeled in planning documents. Once those actions occurred, it's much more harder to say a corridor with merely conceptual.
Really, that's near 3 minutes there. We're over 3 minutes. So if you want to wrap it up there.
Yeah, I understand. If you don't mind. The port does adopt land use. The port does not adopt land use plan, but port actions can become the evidence of other agencies to rely on. If funding or implementation move forward while the corridor remains conceptual and unmapped, later reviews may responsibly conclude that the corridor was treated as real despite the lack of final definition. This does not mean that Morrow is doing anything wrong. It simply means timing and coordination matter, particularly when plans are still conceptual and details have not been finalized. I'm not asking the court to decide land use issues. I'm asking that the record reflects that reliance and coordination concerns were raised before funding or implementation decisions locked in assumptions based on a conceptual corridor.
Okay.
Each condition before exact map and impacts are fixed. Project support projects, other agencies, and helps protect moving forward without delays. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So are there any other speakers today? Okay. Need to sign up, I'm sorry. Do that.
And there was nobody downstairs, we had to go out and make the call.
Please introduce yourself then. Oh, you can stand up there, like, just introduce
So
you.
you need, the address and all that, like city?
It's not, no, we'll get your phone number and things here in a bit. Go ahead.
My name is Randy Baker. I'm just saying a couple things tonight. My family's been in Boardman for 6 generations, and there's many things that I'm not agreeing with what's going on by certain folks. And I just want to read something for the record of the court. This is the first time I've ever been at a court meeting. I'm speaking today only for the record clarity, not to request action or approvals. I want to be very clear about the procedural posture of the trail and corridor decisions that appear across multiple jurisdictions. As of today, Morrow County has not completed coordinated findings on the Heritage Trail Corridor. The City of Boardman's Transportation System Plan remains unresolved as to corridor reliance, and the Park and Rec District has not adopted implementation or funding tied to a finalized corridor. Because of that, any court action today should be understood as conceptual only and not relied upon by other agencies as evidence that corridor alignment, acquisition, or implementation issues are settled. I also want to note for the record that affected landowners have been submitted written coordination and reliance concerns that remain unresolved across city, county, park and recreation planning efforts. I'm not asking the court to delay, approve, or deny anything today. I'm simply requesting that the record reflect that corridor reliance is not settled, interagency coordination is incomplete, and no court action should be interpreted as resolved property, timing, or implementation impacts. I don't know how many know what's been going on with mine and family friends from the different agencies, but there's a lot of things going on that I feel is very improper. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Mr. Baker. John.
My name is Jonathan Coleman. I'm the owner of the First John property that's in reference here. I have spoken and I've added to the public comment section. Lisa Middlesdorf sent me an email back about the right of way and getting the access for the Port of Morrow. I welcome an opportunity to finally get this done. It's holding on my RV park that I'd like to put in. For the record, again, my name is Jonathan Coleman. I'm not here to request any action by the court. I'm solely to know for the record that multiple planning processes affecting the same quarter and my property, including the site Parks Master Plan, the city's TSP, and the county's Heritage Trail, are still pending coordination and review. I asked the city, county, and in writing for any intergovernmental coordination before alliance becomes fixed through funding or implementation. I'm making this statement simply to ensure the record facts, the reliance and concerns were raised before any court action or assumption of the corridor finality. Thank you very much. I appreciate you listening.
Thank you, Mr. Tomlin. Anyone else? You can do it. Okay, thank you very much. Consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve consent agenda as presented.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to approve. Consent agenda is presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, passes. Legislative updates, Ryan or Kirby.
Kirby told me he's not available today.
Okay.
Right.
There's Ryan.
Hi, everyone. Great to, oh, I good to go?
Yeah, you're good to go, Ryan. Thanks. Sorry about that.
No worries. Hi, everyone. Great to see you. I am here to just provide a quick state update. We do have session just before us here in a few weeks. but I won't dare provide a federal update. I'll let Kirby save that for the next commission meeting. So session is upon us, as I just said. I wanted to provide a quick recap of some deadlines. So last week on January 9th, that was when the bills were all filed. And so that means that they are all going to the chief clerk's office or the secretary of the Senate, and they begin the process of getting them uploaded to the system. And then we should be able to review them here soon. We were told either January 23rd or sometime early next week. And so once that happens, I go through the list of bills and provide a list that impacts the port operations or regional partners in any way, good, bad, neutral. And then we review those together. Once that list is developed, we'll really need to begin prioritizing what's super important, needs our attention immediately, and then maybe what's not as important and we can just kind of monitor for relating to clauses and things like that. Session does begin on February 2nd, and timelines move very quick. Bills will need to be out of their first chamber of origin by week 2, and that second chamber deadline is even shorter with only 1 week to move things through. So it's really, really quick. Certain committees like Joint Ways and Means, Rules, and Revenue are exempt from those chamber deadlines. And I feel like I say this every session, but this short session is likely to be just as controversial as prior short sessions because they just continue to stack on some really challenging issues to address. And of course, that truncated timeline does not help the situation. I've talked about this at many commission meetings. The budget situation that the state is walking into, or that legislators are walking into this session, is not looking good. It's not rosy at all. And unfortunately, many of those really tough decisions are going to be made behind closed doors. And so we still do not know how the state is planning on dealing with addressing the budget crisis. We think it's around 600 million that they'll have to either cut or raise revenue. I don't think that they are going to do that, but we're always tracking those things. Or as we talked about, disconnecting from the federal tax code. That's one of the big topics, budget. Another one is economic development. I've talked a lot about some of the other bills, the Fish and Chips Act, the City of Hillsborough bill that's coming forward around advanced manufacturing. But actually this time around, I am talking about LC 109. The governor is putting forward a pretty big policy around economic development. She announced it last week. The goal is to speed up permitting, reduce fees, and expand industrial site readiness. It was just unveiled last week, but it does include some changes to the enterprise zone program. So I am working through that with Lisa to understand impact and kind of what that means for the port and our partners out in Morrow County. Around economic development for the governor, she actually just announced the Oregon Prosperity Council last week, or excuse me, 2 weeks ago, and their goal is to grow Oregon's economy. And then last week, she announced that former Senate Republican leader Tim Knopp will serve as Oregon's Chief Prosperity Officer. That's the first time that this position has been introduced in the state. Another really big topic that the state is, or excuse me, legislators are going to be looking at addressing or tackling, if you will, is federal immigration response. And we have seen hearings and press releases go out. There will be a whole host of bills coming forward from different legislators and community organizations looking to limit the authority of federal agents operating in Oregon and holding federal government accountable. Some of those bills include, but are not limited to, there's a very large package preventing the federal government from illegally withholding funds from the state, constitutional amendments to ban federal officers from wearing masks, school notification when ICE is on campus or near campus, Protect Your Door Act, which would propose holding federal agents accountable for damages. Very broad set of policies that are coming forward on that topic. Here locally, NAWA is working on some legislation to improve how Columbia River water is tracked and managed once it enters the shared regional infrastructure within the Mid-Sea Water Commission. The goal of that concept is to just really modernize oversight through the state agencies so that water can be managed more efficiently while keeping the same kind of legal limits and environmental protections in place. So that's something I'll be tracking really closely. The state is also, or legislators are also looking at a slate of public meetings law technical fixes. So I'm going to be working closely with Brandy to understand the changes there. This comes after the OGC, local governments and special districts, have been negotiating over a couple of weeks. A very small group has been working on that, and that's something that a lot of our local government lobbyists have been tracking. I've talked a lot about transportation over the last few months, but just a quick update. During the last commission meeting, I shared that it was on track to qualify for the ballot, the referendum. Well, it officially qualified since our last meeting. And shortly after that, Governor Kotek announced that she was asking the legislature to repeal the measure entirely, hoping to keep it off the ballot and not have that ballot fight. Well, last week, this is an interesting political development. The Oregon Journalism Project reported on a 1935 legal opinion from Oregon's then Attorney General that basically said the legislature does not have the authority to repeal a measure once it's been referred to the ballot. This will just continue to be a big fight. Oregon's current Attorney General has not provided any guidance on this issue, only citing that this section of the Constitution has that we're being talking about right now in this 90-year-old opinion has been updated. So of course, this transportation saga continues and will certainly be a major issue as we head into session. Lastly, just related to competitive grant programs, the Connect Oregon program is once again open. I think the last time that the port went forward or received Connect Oregon funding was 2017. So hoping to work with Lisa, Mark, the rest of the team to be able to submit for that grant program if there are any projects that would be suitable. That is the end of my update. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Ryan. Is the $600 million shortfall with the governor's trying to repeal the Transportation Act? Does that include that amount?
That does not include that, and that's roughly an estimate based on the budget box that was that came out initially from the co-chairs, subtracting or I guess adding back the November revenue forecast numbers, and so we don't entirely know what the gap is. I think that a lot of folks in positions like mine are guessing it's around 600 million. They have wildfire costs and other costs that they have to deal with, but transportation was not factored into that.
Thanks, Ryan. Does anyone have questions for him?
Does the NOAA legislation, does it have anything to do with our port farm? Is that going to affect us in any way? Or is it just regional?
I believe it's just regional, but I might kick that to MIF where we can follow up with you, Commissioner. It's related to the mid-sea infrastructure. So I don't know if MIF would be able to answer that question or I can just follow up with you.
What's mid-sea, MIF?
I don't know much about it, so.
Okay.
I'll follow up.
Yeah, we'll be curious to hear what the possible changes to the enterprise zone program is, so please.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
We'll get it figured out. Change.
They'll change it, exactly. All right, thanks, Ryan. Moving on, old business. First item on the agenda is CDA update. Please.
Is there news on the settlement agreement?
Hot off the press, Randy and I just got another draft, and we'll be discussing that in executive session.
That's awesome.
We'll get it printed.
Yeah, the other news, it's been an issue month. We had 2 meetings scheduled and canceled. We haven't had another meeting. But in an effort we were discussing getting an EIN and the CDA paying personnel directly. Turns out the CDA has an EIN. In 2015, one was applied for, and CDA has an employment identification number. We're kind of following up and making sure, because they've been telling us that to get an EIN, you need a social security number, someone with the social security number behind, kind of underneath it. But I don't know anything about this particular one other than it's U.S. Treasury report designating an EIN number for the Columbia Development Association. If that's the case, it's going to simplify things. We can pay. The payroll's coming up or the pay period ends Friday, and then Tuesday the check written on Tuesday, or do they need to have it in their hand?
We initiated electronically on Mondays.
Okay, well, we're gonna have a meeting Tuesday.
You need to decide, I think, whether you want to extend another 2 weeks of payroll or not.
Okay, for the board. to do that?
Unfortunately, we have a hard deadline of January 12th, and we postponed our commission meeting to today, so. That's just something you need to talk about.
I just wanted to say, in 2015, they didn't require an individual social security number. But Port CIN,
Right.
back when they filed for it, they didn't require it. I don't see a reason in the world it won't work.
Or, right? That's what I was hoping. Was the reason they did it is change the shipping grant should be,
Well, and they had to do it to get a bank account in 2015.
right,
That's why they did it.
and then it was never used and we forgot.
No, they could have called bank and got it.
Well, I know, but but it never, it was forgotten that that we had one.
Right, and so when you file, you say, are we going to do payroll or are we not gonna do payroll? And I'm sure they said, no, we're not, but that doesn't mean you can't change it later.
Correct, yes. Okay, so I guess with that. I guess that's the most straightforward one with the port, we're willing to extend it one more week. Guys,
So how's payroll gonna get done?
it's going to CDA to do it, I hate to say this, it's trying to do her as a bookkeeper, which it's not like I'm in a movie or something, but the CDA has a bookkeeper and they can do it. They can do the payroll and do the reports and write checks.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, actually couldn't. Well, I'd rather have the board vote in favor of doing it, you know, if you know what I mean, I'd rather have the CDA board approve doing that. Even though the IGA allows the CDA to hire and fire and set salaries to do that, as far as the fiscal agent goes, the fiscal agent may be asked to do payroll by the CDA. It's not required to do payroll. So if it's open for the CDA to do this, I would prefer for the CDA board to vote in favor of doing it before we do it.
So, if I'm, so clarification, so you're asking the port commission to extend for 2 weeks to allow the CDA board to vote? Is that my understanding?
That's pretty much, yes.
I understand the ask. My concern is that 2 meetings were canceled.
I can't guarantee. Hopefully cancel.
And it's discouraging to have them canceled when there's business to be conducted, especially planning business.
I absolutely agree.
They knew this, so.
Otherwise, if the CDA make payment right after we meet. We don't want to be late on these payments. Paying personnel, paying.
I would agree. But I also think that maybe the CDA should have thought of that.
Yeah.
Knowing that we were done on the 12th. Just my frustration. And so how many times are we gonna be asked to continue to pick that up?
Well, this is our fifth.
At a minimum, I want staff to be able to get paid. We can't hold that up. But at the same token, how long are we gonna continue to do this?
Yeah, you have no guarantee what's gonna happen at the next meeting. So
No,
how they're going
no,
to do payroll, so this might not just be a week, this might be another addition and then 2 more just canceled meetings, and it's just never ending, and they need to be responsible. And you're the chair now, so, you know, get your other 2 commissioners that wanna have a meeting and have a meeting. You don't have to wait for anyone else. Get your commissioners together and ask a meeting to be held, and it should have been held before the 12th.
Eileen, did you have a question or a comment?
I don't know that it's appropriate for me to give my opinion, so.
Oh, good.
I'm a hard no, I'm just gonna say that right now, I'm like you, fed up, with the irresponsibility and the lack of accountability at the CDO level.
Well, I would say I'm not a hard no, because staff needs to be paid and there's a deadline to make that happen. I don't know that we can continue to not take care of those obligations. But I am definitely to the point that the CDA has to take this serious.
But it's actually the CDA that has the responsibility. I think.
I would agree.
Yeah.
But
Is there funds to pay them?
Yes,
I understand that Umatilla, Port of Umatilla is no longer paying their portion of they made that a motion. They're no longer going to pay the CDA. So where is the funding coming from now?
Is that indefinitely or?
That's until the litigation is complete. That was in their motion. Their meeting. So they're no longer paying even.
well, they have, the funds are available, yes.
Okay, so
For
payroll.
not for ever, but.
Right.
And how about workman's comp and all of those things? Where are you getting that from? Is that,
Well,
that has to be all figured out too, right?
yes.
So I read in the newspaper that,
Sure,
that,
whoever does payroll, I know.
they were
Sure,
voluntary.
whoever does payroll would know that.
right,
Yeah, I'm not gonna check every little detail on their part, surely they know. I gotta know it. I don't feel much anything, so I don't know why this is, yeah.
I'm just saying that, you don't have the EIN stuff set up yet, so you have the EIN, but not for payroll according to Eileen, but, so it might be, you have to fill out something to get your workman's comp, I'm assuming. So it's not going to be just a CDA quick vote and it happens in my
It could be. It could be, it's unlikely that they wouldn't be able to get safe coverage as a minimum employer. And that'll probably be an annual deposit that they'll need to make up front. But because they are clerical, I can't imagine it would be substantial.
So Eileen, in your opinion, would 2 weeks give them the time to do that?
Okay, this is what my comment was. If we are ending this Friday, I think we need to end this Friday. And we need to give notice. And we do have a few hours of vacation to pay to one of those employees. And we should do a final check and have the final checks available on Friday. If we wait till Tuesday, it's not wait till Tuesday, because then they've technically been employed by us for 2 more days. But if that's what you want to do, I just want to be clear of what it was that you were asking us to do.
I would like a clean break, and I was kind of hoping we had it by now, but we don't. And I think we have a motivated CDA board member with us that is going to try to see that happens, but it seems to me that he needs a little breathing room to get this accomplished. Now, if the meeting is canceled, I will be a hard no next time. There will be no extending in my vote. So,
Well, only reason the meeting should be canceled is if we don't have a quorum.
and better make sure they can get their goal, you can get an alternate or somebody. I know it's not your responsibility, but if you can get in there, that'd be great. I would make a motion that we continue to pay payroll through Friday, that a clean break, doesn't include Monday and Tuesday. How does that work? Is that right?
If it's Friday, like she said, we have to have a final check to give to them immediately. You can't wait until Tuesday.
Is that doable?
It's
Okay.
doable if that's what you want to do. And there's no reason why they can't get it done between now and Friday to have something going forward, should they choose to do so.
Okay. That's my motion.
I'll second.
Okay. We have a motion and a second to continue payroll for the CDA only through Friday, this Friday. And no more. Is there any discussion on the motion?
To treat this as their final payroll.
Yes, this is their final payroll.
So it'll terminate whatever benefits that we have as a rep.
That's my intent for a clean break, yes. All those in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye. Aye. Aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
3 votes to 1 to pass.
thank you, I will push as hard as I can.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Joel.
That's. Oh,
How about employment?
there's more bad news.
Oh.
How can it be? Umatilla, they didn't get the Umatilla County paperwork done for the road. Umatilla County put a stop order on building. And so we're gonna try to move it over to Morrow County.
Okay, started that.
I heard that was corrected.
That was corrected. Is we are good with doing nothing, Jacob?
That was the information I got from the contractor last meeting, was they started back up again last month.
Okay. That's good, it's good.
I don't know what got resolved, they just said they're working.
Okay,
Are they working on the Umatilla County side or the Morrow side?
I can't answer that.
I know it is, yeah. I want to know.
How about employment contract? Where is the,
Well, so far, there's been no, reaching out to accept it.
Okay.
So I'm assuming that Greg's not interested, so that'll be a topic at the meeting too.
to hire a new executive director?
That either have, yeah, I mean, this opens different doors,
Hmm.
with a PIN. We can hire somebody or we can do the contract,
I see.
but that'd be something we could discuss. We can still move ahead with the contract open. Yeah. Or we could hire someone.
I have one more thing for the CBA is on the IGA, and I know Lisa's brought it up we've brought it up several times now, is correcting the language in the IGA about the fiscal agent and what the fiscal agent is, and then correcting the language in the IGA about the responsibilities of the payment to the CDA from the 5 entities. And that's still, it's been brought up several times and it just keeps getting passed over and passed over and passed over.
Well, I think
And if we're gonna continue to be this.
as far as requiring the payment, that's just not gonna happen because it requires all 5 to agree to do that. But Umatilla County will not agree to that.
It also says in there that if we're gonna, we signed up to be the fiscal agent and it has responsibilities of the fiscal agent. And those responsibilities are not something that we're willing to take on. So with that language,
That should.
definitely needs to
Or
be.
it changes with, we're not doing personnel anymore. So we're only looking at the other items out there. Need to review those. It may not be that bad.
If we're going to request to open IT back up, there are several items that go into that. It was written years ago before we were well into the process that we are now, so I think there's a lot of things about partner responsibilities or no responsibilities. And what if they choose to just not pay? Even though part of the document says there aren't any requirements to pay.
It says that, yes.
I guess my ask to you, Joel, would be then, as soon as this thing is sorted out with the, the employee and the executive director, that maybe one of the first things you might address is the IGA and how it might be cleaned up.
Okay.
And the policies that are
Yes, and
still,
policies.
policies still haven't been adopted or,
No. No, we talk about things and then there's take action.
yeah.
Well, it
Yeah, I'm
doesn't,
gonna try to change that, yeah.
yeah,
So my input on the employee would be probably no. I would rather see a contract.
Or
It's a
see a
lot
contract.
cleaner that way,
Okay.
and we don't have to deal with employees, period.
Uh-huh.
CDA you're speaking, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
You need any more input from me?
Wish me luck.
Yeah, good luck, we've got a big job ahead. Thank you, Joel.
So the rest of this conversation, will take place in executive session. I'm hoping when we come out of executive session, I can take action.
Okay, all right. All right, moving on with the updates, please.
We don't have a wiki update. We've executed the clean water, I'm lumping these two together with United Clean Water. We
Okay.
have, signed the clean water document. We've got a disclosure that we need to make as far as federal lobbying. Kirby and I were on the phone this morning and, we've got a draft of that and it's signed and ready to go back. And so we'll be sending that on to Sam. Sam will give this a legal opinion. And anything else will be given at the next meeting for review.
All right, thank you. Morrow County Clean Water Consortium updates.
Our meeting is on Friday. We have a couple people applied for the directorship in the applications. I think we're going to select one, or at least we're going to go through applications
Try to,
and try to find somebody that will take over the directorship, but I don't know either individual that was put up. I don't know who they are or where they came from. I haven't had time to even do any research on it, but it is on Friday at 4.
Okay, it's promising, there's nothing, I'm proud. Okay, keep us informed. SIP IGA with the county. This is on the agenda because I think we need to come to some agreement with the county so that we don't have competing programs and we're butting heads. And we have an understanding so that we can have a cohesive voice in the county. You know, we've talked about this numerous times and over the months. Would this commission be open to, you know, we've seen different drafts. We've seen a draft from the county and we've seen our draft with an IGA. And they're in our packet here. There's a fair bit of difference between them. And so in space, wondering if the commission would be open to forming a work group with the county. So 2 commissioners from this group and 1 commissioner from the county. And see if we could come together and get some ideas put together and bring them back to this group and to the Board of Commissioners. What do you think?
I think it's a good idea. I have something to bring up, and I was wondering if there's a way to incorporate zones of influence in SIP agreement.
I think they're countywide.
Well, they are countywide.
I mean, SIP agreements
but
in
it's the Port of
general.
Morrow countywide.
Yeah, but see,
That would be where there might be areas that the port's not involved. It's just a thought.
yeah, I would think that would be a topic that would come up in our
It would
work
come up, yeah.
and hash it out.
So are you thinking about it as a work session or just an advisory group? I would like to have everybody involved, so we all hear what the differences are and those type of things, so maybe a work session held together jointly,
So a joint meeting, work session.
yeah, instead of just a advisory board that. It's a lot to listen to somebody just, you know, bring that.
How do we start? What do we start with?
Rick, what do you think?
Well, I think it's important to understand that the SIP program is instrumental in economic development, especially from a port stance. So it's crucial that we maintain a positive role in that process. As far as a committee, I think we need to have some discussions, maybe as with the county and the group. I kind of agree with Kelly that maybe we just get both entities together and have a discussion and try to get a better idea of positions for each. I have a kind of pretty good idea where the county stands. And I have a kind of a pretty good idea where I stand. So I don't know if it's going to be productive, but in the end, I agree with the SIP agreements. You know, there's some advantages to those compared to enterprise zone agreements, and we need to probably get this process further along than where we are today, because I'm sure there's going to be stuff coming forward. So,
is it the consensus of the group then to reach out to the county and do a joint work session together in our entirety?
I'm fine with that.
Okay, all right.
I would be fine with that. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Lisa, would you have someone there, please? Okay. Thank you, everyone. Is there any other topic or thoughts on this? Okay. All right, moving on. Commissioner appointments. We're gathering applications until the 30th of this month. And we are going to today discuss either questions and how we do it or procedure. If it's going to be the same as last time, that's fine. Let's lay it out though. We want to assign dates to it. What do we think?
I think the process went really well as far as interviewing, come up with the questions first, like we did before. Each commissioner have a few questions, submit them as a pool. We agree on which questions we're gonna ask, a consensus amongst the board, and then bring the letters of interest forward and invite them in to have a interview, see how they respond.
Okay, what do we need to accomplish today to move this down the track?
I don't think the process.
I would say
Okay.
process and set a date.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so the process, we just kind of lined it out there though, right?
That's what we've done in the past. It seems to work. We're able to, listen to each one of the, interested parties to find out if they're gonna be a fit for the, Port Commission, and how they're gonna represent the port moving forward. So I think it's a good process. It's whether or not we can all come to an agreement. As we know. If we run into that being a 2-2 vote, then at the end, the county commission gets to make that decision, and I'm not prepared to go that route, so. But anyway,
Are we prepared if we get to a 2-2 vote block, open it and it back up for further applications, or like, didn't we do that before, or did we not?
No, we did not.
we did not. We had a resolution brought forward to try to resolve the issue, so.
That's right. Very good.
Yeah.
So February meeting is February 11th.
Okay,
Some of us are gone to special districts, the last half of the week before. So do you want to do it on the day of our commission meeting?
I think we talked about trying to come in earlier that day, at least kind of getting an idea, and try to review the applicants and
Mhm.
do the interviews. And then
Was it a 1-day process?
if typically, well,
Last year it was 2.
hopefully it's a 1-day process, but I guess we'll just have to gauge it and see how it goes.
And I think we met that morning.
We did,
did.
we met that morning and tried to make a decision in the afternoon. We just couldn't come to an agreement, so I think we need to leave ourselves, I think we need to at least schedule it for that. And see if we can do the interviews.
I guess we need to ask the interviewers if they're available, right?
Well, I think we set the date and hopefully,
Yeah.
I mean, we're not gonna be able to make it's like doing the doodle poll.
How many do we have? Do we have more than one? We have,
I would think so. I don't think that there's a.
no, I meant
How many
applications.
applications? Oh, how many do we have now? What's your question, Kelly? Sorry.
How many applications do we
We
have?
have 2.
Okay. And they have another 10 days effectively, 10 days.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna propose then that we meet at, is 10 o'clock too early, too late? What are we thinking?
I'm fine with it, but I think the other part of that is we need to have each commissioner submit 5 questions or 4 questions, and then that way we can, as a commission, review those questions that morning before we actually do, and then pick how many questions we're gonna ask out of those questions.
So your 5 questions then, commissioners, submit them. Lisa, you could gather them up if they were sent to you. Okay, and then just bring them to the meeting at 10 o'clock, or unless it needs to be earlier, the time is open, but then we will decide on the questions, however many we decide on. And then what time should the candidates show up? 11?
I'm thinking it'll take us a while to get through that. Do interviews at 11, and then done by 1.
I would say you might want to start at 9 o'clock.
Think so?
9 o'clock?
If you have 5 applicants,
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so at 9 o'clock, the commissioners will meet then to decide questions. And then 10 o'clock, candidates will begin with candidates. All right, okay, February 11th it is then. Okay, thank you, everyone. Just remember to submit your questions to Lisa.
By when?
Honestly, we just need to have, since we're gonna be making the decisions on the questions by that day.
Yeah.
Before that date. Yeah, Lisa's not making, she's not gonna compile them or anything like that.
if you send them the Friday before meeting, then we'll have questions for that week too. The following, same piece of paper.
Okay, all right. So Friday,
The 6th.
the 6th, thank you. Friday the 6th, please submit your questions by the end of the day. Friday the 6th. Anything else on council report? Any other old business? Okay, moving forward, new business. 2026 membership board appointments. this is committee appointments, and we have a list of board membership appointments in our packet.
So back to your earlier comments, I would support postponing those until we have a full commission. That gives us an opportunity to have input to address Kelly's concern about maybe having to have somebody at our next phase 3. Was it phase 3?
Well, actually, I might be mistaken because I'm looking at CDA 2 was John and Joel, and Pres 3 is Joel and John. I was thinking that Danny was on there, but
Here's an alternate.
he's an
Yeah,
alternate,
just an
so
alternate.
I guess I misspoke a little bit, but
So postponement would be an option then, till we're
I
fully
so we
looked
get
at.
full.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
All right. All right,
that's it, yes.
okay, thank you. We will maintain the current board member representatives until we have a full board to vote on. Thank you, everyone. Okay, next on the agenda, resolution 2026-01, trail use immunity opt-in for special districts. Lisa, would you mind explaining this or Rick?
I can give you just a little bit of a background. So several years ago, they changed the law to where if you were on a public property and you're walking along and you step in a hole, then you can come back and sue that public entity for damages down the road, which did apply to municipalities and special districts. So that became a big topic. With Senate Bill 179, they opened that up to what's called an opt-in. So bigger cities get the exemption to be exempted under that to help reduce the liability exposure that they're facing.
Oh, okay.
It kind of went out to the cities as well, smaller cities. But for special districts, we have to opt in order to get that exposure to reduce that exposure liability. So that's why we have a resolution before us. In order for us to get that, we have to opt in.
Okay.
Hopefully that made sense.
Yeah, I remember the law and hearing about it, and everybody was worried.
Yes.
For sure.
Would that cover us for the CDA, the trail site that we're talking about?
Any public properties.
After it's ours.
After it's ours, but until then, are they covered? Because we are members of the CDA.
I would hope.
So maybe that's something else for your CDA board.
That might be a question because I would think that the entities that would be covered would be the counties, both counties, but whether or not without us, because we're a member, without us opting in, I don't know, we would be exempt.
You're talking about the vote today opting us in or a CDA vote opting us in?
I think,
Both.
yeah, I'm not sure about the CDA side, but we're a member of the CDA. My guess is, or the other entities are probably covered because they've opted in or under that bill. If we don't, I think we're kind of open. Because we are a member of that organization.
Sounds like a topic for the CDA to consider. Wait.
Long day.
Yeah, big job there. I would make a motion then to approve resolution 2026-01, a resolution opting to limit liability for certain claims arising from the use of public trails or structures and public easements and unimproved rights of way pursuant to ORS 105.668.
I would second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion? All those in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign, it's unanimous. Thank you. Port County IGA CBA South Trail, please. Someone that can address this point.
Okay, so in our packet, under new business is an intergovernmental agreement, to preserve the South Trail Commission set aside in the CDA that happens to fall within the property that the Port of Morrow will be acquiring. Right now, Morrow County has been the agency designated to take care of the trail site, the visitor area and the trail site itself. Mark and I took a tour out there and, I don't think it's gonna be a problem at all for us to take over long-term maintenance of that site. So this IGA is, between us and the county, and then once, so this will get rid of the obligations on the county to
South Trail.
the south trail.
This is the trail, talk about for the green cars or?
No,
No, okay,
no, I have no idea what they're talking about, just so you know.
that's okay.
Yeah.
And the North Trail is,
The North Trail is on the CTUIR, I believe. Our portion is on our property, the other trail is over there, and so is the Cooley part. So the program and agreement that you have is addresses them all, but they're just talking about the interpretive side. So that's correct, right?
Madam Chair, I would move to approve, the port to engage with an IGA with the county for the CDA South Trail and authorize staff to execute that IGA.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further questions or discussion? All those in favor of the motion as stated, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same signs, unanimous.
Can I have one question about that, Lisa? Is the port taking care of the roads out there, or is that going to be a county responsibility on the CDA property?
It should be our roads.
Okay.
That's the way it is.
So we will be plowing them and keeping them maintained and.
We maintain, we take care of them, we build them.
Okay. All right, moving on then, property lease, fire departments.
Jacob.
Oh, you want me to?
They keep son.
I think we share our capital with it.
We didn't. I thought we were gonna talk about it in executive
Thought we were
session.
gonna use executive session.
We can do it in executive session. It
Probably.
qualifies for executive session.
It does.
We will move it there if we're taking action, we'll come back out.
Okay, all right, thank you for that. Is there any other new business to come before us?
And we have a good plan. We should do introduction.
Absolutely.
After an extensive or exhaustive search.
Both.
After advertised for over 2 years and we finally found the right candidate, Tim Hilbig. Is fairly local from the Pendleton area. I'll let him in a moment give an introduction of himself.
He's a
but-
transplant.
Yeah. But we're going on 3 weeks and he's still here, so.
Hey, all right.
That's gonna stick.
That changes desk work, man.
Tim Hilbig.
Welcome, Tim.
Thank you.
Yeah. What is your specialty in engineering, please?
So I was a consultant for almost 9 years and worked primarily with reports across the Pacific Northwest. Did all sorts of civil design from rail to roads, terminal development, utilities, so pretty broad range of experience.
Great fit, then, sounds like. Good. Well, thank you and welcome.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. All right, any other new business? Okay, we'll move into staff reports. Now we're gonna, a lot of them are in our packets. For the sake of expediency, we're probably going to not have them given live. Is there anything, except I did want to hear from Eileen because she was mentioning good news the other day on the financial report.
Well, we have good news, but we also have to point out an error, and I apologize. We had a revised copy of this, and we obviously failed to give it to Randy.
Oh,
Because if you look at the ending balance, the 102 million, and then you look at the total on the right. And if you look up a little ways, you'll see a blank spot. That 6,006,287 didn't get put in that total. So actually both totals should be the 102,408,010. So we completed the sale, so that's $6 million. We will be holding on to for potential, improvements that may need to be made, possibly.
7:30 of those are.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the remaining funds from the sale are unrestricted. And, that is why the Port of Morrow operational cash up above 5443 is now $24 million. So we have 30 million of unrestricted, 71 million, which are either restricted for debt service or construction, for the total of 102,408.
Great.
Good
Thank you.
news.
Yeah, we like good news. Thank you. Any questions for Eileen? Okay, thank you. Is there anything else we need to staff reports? Does anybody want to hear? We're good. Okay. Other reports, we're going to hold till next month. Good to the order. Okay, moving on. Upcoming events, February 5 through 8, SDO conference in Seattle, February 11th, Port of Morrow Commission meeting. We will be reminded that at 9 o'clock, we're supposed to be here, and it's 6. And yeah, lots of publication.
Yeah.
And April 20 to the 23rd, PMWA mission to Washington, should anybody want to attend. At this time, we will recess the open session of the Port of Morrow. We'll hold an executive session meeting for permissible reasons stated below under ORS 1926602. Representatives of the news media and designated staff of the person shall be allowed to attend the executive session. The public virtual Zoom meeting link will be paused during the executive session, as permissible executive session meetings are not subject to House Bill 2560. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on any of the deliberations during the executive session, except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No decision will be made in this executive session. At the end of the executive session, we will return to the room, start the public virtual Zoom meeting link again, and open the regular session meeting. The purposes designated for the executive session today are A, for the purpose of consideration of deliberations with the Port's executive director and other staff members who have been designated by the Port to negotiate real property transactions under ORS 1926602E, and also B, for the purpose of consultation with counsel concerning the legal rights and duties of the public body with regard to current litigation or litigation likely to be filed. That's ORS 1926602H. Okay, we're going to come back into the open session of the Port of Morrow Commission meeting for January 20th. I did have one comment concerning something that was reminded. There was discussion earlier about possibility of a Pres 2 and 3 meeting next week. I asked Valley County to send out information to everyone, so that we could think before the meeting occurred. So Mike Gorman calls me back today. I'm sorry, I didn't think of this at the time. He said he would be happy to do that or get it to someone, get it out to us, which tends to make me think that the meeting might still be on. If there's any way to double check that, let's do, please, because it sounds like it might still be on. Anyway, we'll move on. Is there any other business to come before us today?
Just follow up, so would that be for Pres 2 or Pres 3 or both?
Both.
I think it's what we're running the meetings at the same time. We go in and out, well, kind of awkward, but it's working, I think.
I think so. I think we get things done on that.
Yeah, I don't think it was actually canceled, she just hadn't finalized scheduling it.
Oh, okay.
She just said that's the day that works for everybody, and they were waiting for a couple of people to still respond to the doodle poll, but she said they had a quorum, so I don't know why she doesn't just schedule it.
Okay, that's just a bit of information I thought I'd want to walk in here. So is there any other business coming before us tonight? Yeah.
The section.
The section.
Yes, that's what I'm waiting for. Let me, I have the verbiage.
Okay.
Mutual release and settlement agreement.
I would move to approve a mutual release and settlement agreement and to have it executed by Lisa.
I'll second that.
Right, we have a motion and second to approve the mutual release and settlement agreement. Be executed by Lisa. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign, unanimous. Right, any other business to come before?
We're one step closer.
I love it, that's great. Thank you. All right, thanks, everyone. Take care and have a safe trip home.